And Ranking Member Markey, did you have closing comments?
Well, if I may, I just have a couple of more questions, if I may.
Oh.
And
Yes, you may.
thank you.
5 minutes.
As I mentioned in my opening statement, President Trump has single-handedly decimated our innovation ecosystem. As one professor has noted, over the last few months, an elaborate plan to ensure that China prevails in our global economic competition has taken shape. The plan's chief architects, however, are not China's leaders. They are U.S. politicians. And the professor goes on to say, the Trump administration's cuts to federal agencies are undermining the United States' ability to innovate. Hostile immigration policies are making it harder for U.S. firms, industries, universities to attract the best ideas and talents. Wild threats of tariffs and restrictions on foreign supply chains are terrifying investors. President Trump has created the perfect storm to destroy our competitive edge. So, Dr. Shivakumar, how will gutting our innovation ecosystem benefit China?
Well, it'll benefit China by taking us out of the race, clearly. But I think what we need to do is to actually supercharge our innovation system by reinforcing all the things that do work and fixing the things that don't. There are a number of connection points, and our research system is something that we have been investing in for decades now. And it's a legacy system, and it requires reform. But at the same time, you reform it, you don't destroy it. It's an important facet of our innovation system. It requires care and renovation and resources.
Yep. So over the Boston Public Library, it says, the education of its people is the best defense of a nation. And that's been a bipartisan agreement that Democrats and Republicans have had over generations, that it benefits our national security, it benefits our innovation culture. And in 1957, President Eisenhower enacted the National Defense Education Act. Sputnik was up in the air, giving us an electronic finger from outer space. You're behind. You're behind. We're ahead of you. So I went to college on a national defense student loan, as did millions of other kids. We got to get in this race. We got to educate people, because President Eisenhower recognized that the only way the United States was going to win the space race and protect our national security was to invest in education, invest in those institutions, provide financial assistance to students. Now, in 2025, President Trump is doing the exact opposite, taking a sledgehammer to our world-renowned innovation ecosystem, dismantling our education system, and undermining America's competitive edge. And these impacts will be felt for generations to come. As one researcher said, if this continues, we are going to lose a generation of scientists. So, Dr. Shivakumar, what impact will President Trump's attacks have on American innovation, our national security, our ability to attract the best and the brightest?
Well, I think you have described what the impacts will be. So I would agree with you. It's our innovation system is tightly coupled with our research and development system, and attacks on, and if you undermine that research and development part of our ecosystem, you slow down all the other parts of it as well. So this is going to be a long-lasting negative impact if in fact the proposed cuts to NSF and so forth do take place. But this is what the president has proposed. I think it's for the president to propose, for Congress to dispose. So I'm hopeful.
Yep. So I've been in Congress for a while. Mm-hmm. I did not vote for most favored nation status for China. I was always very suspicious of them, especially after I went to China and I could see how they were stealing our intellectual property. When in the year 2000 there was a vote on making it permanent, normal trade relations, there's nothing normal about trade relations with China. I voted no each time. But there was a bipartisan consensus, Democrat and Republican presidents, Democrat and Republican leaders in the House and Senate. I was in the vast minority saying, no, we're going to be handing over our intellectual property. But they wanted to play. They were smart people thinking big strategic cards. They wanted to play the China card. And when we ultimately turned over the card, it was a deuce. We didn't get anything in return. They didn't help us strategically. They just helped themselves economically. And now that they have the lead, they're putting up barriers. They have a battery that can recharge for 5 minutes, and the car goes 400 miles. They're not going to allow that to come to the United States for manufacturing, because they are now going to actually finish off this plan which they had to take advantage of us, and then in turn have us not be able to compete with them on all of these key innovation technologies. That's why SBIR is so important. That's why all of the investment that we make in innovation and R&D is just so critical. And we're just, unfortunately, increasingly just leaving the playing field. And China, I'm sure, is in a state of shock that we're doing it, not receiving anything in return from the Chinese as a reciprocal concession that is made to us. I thank you, Madam Chair. I just think this is such
Thank
an
you.
important area for all of us to be able to focus on.